Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator Triangle, budget, save, pay off debt, to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, grow your savings with purpose, and knock out debt with confidence. And today, we are climbing. Because saving money isn't just about having a goal, it's about having a strategy. And if you've ever felt stuck, stalled, or unsure of where to start, this episode, it's your ladder. We're going to walk through how to build your savings one rung at a time, starting with your emergency fund, stacking wins with alligator and fun funds, and climbing towards long-term wealth with clarity and confidence. Because most people don't fail at saving, they stall. They try to leap to the top without building the steps beneath, and when life shakes the ladder, they fall. This episode is your blueprint for building a saving strategy that's strong, steady, and tailored to your season. As Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson once said, success at anything doesn't always come easy. It's a climb, but the view from the top, worth it. So whether you're starting from zero, rebuilding after a setback, or just ready to take your next step, grab your plan, grab your purpose, and let's build your ladder. Why most people stall out on savings and how to fix it with the ladder mindset. Let's start with a confession that might sound familiar. You've tried to save, you've opened the account, you've even transferred a few bucks. But then life happened. The car needed tires, the kid needed cleats, and your savings gone faster than a box of donuts in the break room. If that's you, you're not alone, and you're not failing. You're just missing a ladder. Because most people don't struggle with the idea of saving. They struggle with the structure of saving. They try to leap from zero to fully funded retirement in one jump. Or they set unrealistic goals, expecting to fully fund savings for emergencies, vacations, holidays, retirement, braces, a new couch, and a dog named Waffles, all within 2 paychecks. And when that doesn't work, they stall, they stop, they feel stuck. That's where the savings ladder comes in. The problem: saving without a system. Let's break down why most people stall out. First, they don't prioritize the first 2 rungs. Most people, they don't know where to start, or they underestimate the importance of starting with the step stool. This is the emergency fund and the alligator fund. These 2 aren't optional. They're your financial guardrails. You build them concurrently, and you build them with urgency. You don't need to fund them fully overnight, but you need to start. Because like we've said before, the amount you start with, that doesn't matter. It's the momentum that does. Without these 2 rungs in place, your ladder, it's wobbly. You're climbing without a base, and when life throws a curveball, you're gonna fall. So yes, you eventually save for retirement, vacations, and legacy goals, but first you build the step stool, you stabilize, you protect your progress, and then you climb. Second, they try to do too much too soon. They set 12 savings goals, automate 6 transfers, and then wonder why their checking account is gasping for air by the 15th. It's like trying to climb a ladder by jumping to the top rung. Spoiler, you're going to fall. Third, they don't see progress. When your savings goals are unrealistic, it feels like you're getting nowhere. You overextend, and the wins take so long, it feels like watching a high school curling tournament for 6 straight hours. Eventually, even championship billiards starts to sound exciting. Fourth, they don't align savings with their season. If you're in survival mode, saving for a vacation might feel tone deaf. If you're debt-free with margin, saving for only emergencies might feel like you're playing small. Your saving strategy should match your season, not someone else's. The fix: the ladder mindset. The ladder mindset is simple. You build your savings one rung at a time with clarity, focus, and momentum. We talk regularly about creating rhythm. You need that rhythm as you work each rung. While you focus on building your emergency fund, you keep some rhythm in your retirement, but your focus is on your current goal. Each rung has an end goal. Each rung has steps to reach that goal. And while you don't need to wait for perfection before moving up, you do need a solid foundation beneath you. It's not flashy, it's not complicated, but it works. And here's why. It gives you a clear starting point. It creates visible wins. It builds momentum. It aligns with your Triggator Triangle and your life season. And most importantly, it keeps you from stalling. What the ladder looks like. We'll break this down in detail in the next sections, but here's a preview of the rungs. First, emergency fund, your sleep at night money. Second, alligator fund, your I saw that coming money. Third, fun fund, your joy without guilt money. Fourth, retirement fund, your future paycheck money. Fifth, wealth fund, your next level money. That's your investment, your big goals, and your legacy. Each rung, it has a purpose. Each rung, it has a target. Each rung, they have goals. And each one prepares you for the next. The psychology of progress. Behavioral science backs this up. According to a 2024 study by the Financial Behavior Institute, people who break large financial goals into smaller milestones are 63% more likely to follow through. Why? Because progress is addictive. Wins build confidence, and confidence builds consistency. The latter mindset turns savings from vague intention into a clear, winnable game. Remember Super Mario Brothers? How you didn't start on level 8, you started on level 1. You learned the moves, you beat the Goombas, you got the mushroom. Then you moved up. That's the ladder. You don't start with a $50,000 investment portfolio. You start with $50 in your emergency fund. You beat the first level, then you climb. Now you might be saying, but Nate, in Super Mario, I could warp to level 8. Yes, you can. And with the help of the payoff debt side of your triangle, you can warp to meet your financial goals faster, but you still need to know how to play the game. If you stalled out on savings, it's not because you're bad with money. It's because you didn't have a ladder, but now you do. So take a breath. Forget the top rung for a minute and focus on the step stool, the first 2 rungs, the first 2 steps that will keep you moving up the ladder and prevent a bad fall. Because when you build your savings step stool, you don't just make progress, you make it sustainable. How to define your step stool, the emergency and alligator funds. If the savings ladder is your path to long-term wealth, the step stool is what keeps you from falling off in the first place. Before you climb towards retirement, investments, or even that long-awaited vacation, you need a solid base. And that base is made up of 2 rungs, the emergency fund and the alligator fund. These aren't nice to haves. They're your financial safety net and your stability system. They're what keep your spending plan from collapsing the moment life throws a wrench or a vet bill your way. Let's break them down. The emergency fund, your safety net. This is your sleep at night money, the fund that keeps you calm when the unexpected shows up uninvited. We're talking job loss, medical bills, a busted water heater in the middle of January, the stuff you can't plan for, but absolutely need to be ready for. Here's how to define it. Start with $500. This is your I can breathe baseline. Build to $1,000. Your I can handle a flat tire and a sick kid fund. Then aim for 1 month of expenses and eventually 3 and all the way up to that 6-month fully funded emergency fund. This fund isn't about wealth. It's about resilience. It's what keeps you from reaching for the credit card when life gets messy. And here's the key. You don't wait until you can save $1,000. Start with 10, start with 5, start with a jar labeled break glass in case of chaos. Because the amount, it doesn't matter. It's the momentum that you're starting that does. The alligator fund, your I got this money. Now let's talk about the next rung in your step stool, the alligator fund. These are the expenses that aren't monthly, but are absolutely coming. They're not emergencies. They're not surprises. They are just sneaky. Think car repairs, back to school supplies, holidays, birthdays, annual insurance premiums, vet visits, especially if you did, in fact, get that dog named Waffles. These are the expenses that love to bite your spending plan when you're not looking. And if you don't plan for them, they'll derail your progress faster than you can say unexpected dental work. Here's how to build it. List your known non-monthly expenses. Look back at the last 12 months to help you identify them. Estimate the total for each. Be honest and round up. Divide the number by the number of paychecks until they're due. That's your savings target per check. Then automate that exact amount. Not just $10, automate the number from step 3 so you're always ready when that expense shows up. No friction, no forgetting, no scrambling. This fund is your spending plan's I got this. It keeps you from busting your plan every time life acts well like life. Why we build these together. Here's a mistake most people make. They pick one or the other, but the truth is you need both. The emergency fund protects your peace. The alligator fund, that protects your plan. One is for the unpredictable, the other is for the inevitable. And when you build them together, you create a foundation that's strong enough to support everything else. Your fund, your retirement fund, and eventually your wealth fund. This is why we call it the step stool. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's what keeps you upright when the ladder shakes. The momentum principle. Let's bring this back to the core message. These amounts, they're not as important as the momentum that you create as you're working towards them. You don't need to save $1,000 this month. You need to start saving something today. Because every dollar you assign to your step stool is a dollar that protects your progress, a dollar that keeps you from falling, a dollar that says, I'm leading my money with purpose. Let's rewind to the gloriously cheesy 1960s Batman movie. Batman is halfway up a ladder, being chased by an obviously rubber shark. And what does he pull out from his utility belt? Bat shark repellent. Yes, that's a real thing. Go watch it. And yes, it saves the day. This is what your step stool is. It's your utility belt. It's what you're able to pull out when that emergency hits. The emergency fund, that's your grappling hook. The alligator fund, that's your bat shark repellent. They're not flashy, but when things go sideways, they're what keep you in control. You don't need to be a superhero. You just need to be prepared. If you're serious about building wealth, you start by building stability. The emergency fund and the alligator fund are your first two rungs, your step stool, your financial foundation. They don't just keep you from falling, they give you the confidence to climb. So don't wait, don't overthink, don't try to leap to the top. Start with the step stool, start with momentum, and start now. Stack the wins, fun, retirement, and wealth funds that keep you climbing. Once your step stool is solid, emergency and alligator funds are in place, it's time to climb. This is where saving starts to feel exciting. You're no longer just protecting your plan, you're building a future that reflects your values, your goals, and yes, your joy. Let's talk about the next 3 rungs in your ladder. The fun fund, because joy is part of the plan. The retirement fund, your future paycheck, and the wealth fund, your legacy and financial freedom. Each of these rungs build on the last, and each one helps you stack wins that keep you climbing. The fun fund, joy without guilt. Let's start with the most misunderstood rung, fun. Fun, it isn't frivolous. It's fuel. A spending plan without joy is like a treadmill with no off switch. Eventually, you're going to burn out, jump off, and throw the whole thing out the window. The fun fund is how you build in joy on purpose. It's how you say yes to the things that matter without sabotaging your progress. But here's the key. You can't save for everything fun at once. Trying to save for a vacation, a new couch, a concert, and a kayak all at the same time, that's a fast track to frustration. You'll stretch your savings so thin, you won't feel the progress anywhere, and that kills momentum. Instead, lead your money. Here's how. Decide how much you can assign to your fun fund from each paycheck. Pick one of the goals that you have to focus on first. Maybe it's the vacation. Once that goal is fully funded, roll that same savings amount into the next goal. Now you're saving for the couch with momentum. This is how you stack wins. This is how you stay motivated. This is how you make your spending plan sustainable. Because joy isn't the reward for getting it right. It's part of what helps keep you going. The retirement fund, your future paycheck. Next up, the retirement fund. This is the rung that often gets ignored early on, but it's one of the most powerful. Here's why. First, time is your best ally. The earlier you start, even with small amounts, the more compound interest works in your favor. A $50 monthly contribution in your 20s can grow to six figures by retirement. That's not magic, that's math. Second, employer matches are free money. The market might give you 8% one year and 20% the next, but your employer match, that's a guaranteed return. If you can, get 100% of it. If you can't just yet, get debt-free so that you can. Third, it's never too late to start. Even if you're still building your triangle or paying off debt, start small. $25 a month is better than zero. You're not just saving, you're building a future paycheck. And remember, this isn't about retiring early. It's about retiring well, with dignity, options, and peace of mind. Your wealth fund, your legacy rung. Finally, we reach the top of the ladder, the wealth fund. Here is where your dollars get promoted, from employees to managers. This is where your money starts hiring more money. But before you climb this high, your other rungs need to be solid, because this rung comes with risk, and risk without a tether is just a fall waiting to happen. The wealth fund is where you invest beyond retirement, build passive income streams, fund big dreams like starting a business, giving generously, or leaving a legacy. This is the next level money, but it's not the first level. It's not even the third. It's the top rung, and it only works if the rest of your ladder is strong. We've said this before, but we're going to borrow a little bit of wisdom from Notorious B.I.G. Mo money, mo problems. And he wasn't wrong if your foundation isn't solid. But when you've built your ladder with intention, step stool first, then stacking wins, more money doesn't mean more problems. It means more purpose. Because you're not just chasing wealth, you're leading it. The fun, retirement, and wealth funds aren't just about the future. They're about building a life that reflects your values today and tomorrow. So once your step stool is in place, don't be afraid to climb. Add joy with intention. Build your future paycheck. And when you're ready, let your money start working for you. Because when you stack the wins, you don't just climb the ladder, you own it. You've made it to the end of the savings ladder. And if you're still here, you're not just climbing, you're leading. You've built your step stool, you've stacked your wins, and now you're standing on top of your ladder, looking down at the chaos that you used to call my saving strategy. That's progress, that's leadership, that's Triggator. Today's challenge, it's simple. Secure your step stool. Take 10 minutes to check your emergency fund balance. Note where you are in your goal progress. Review your alligator fund categories. Make sure that you are fully funding for those non-monthly expenses that are gonna come up. Then automate one transfer, just one, to keep the momentum going. Because the ladder only works when the base is solid, and your step stool, that's your launch pad. If this episode helped you rethink your saving strategy or gave you permission to add joy back into your plan, let's keep this conversation going. And hey, if you've got a fund win, a retirement fund milestone, or just a couch that you finally saved up for, we want to celebrate with you. Email me at podcast@Triggator.com. Message me on Instagram, Facebook, or X @Triggator, or tag us. If this episode helped you, make sure that you follow the show so your next financial win doesn't miss a rung. Leave a review, especially if this episode helped you turn your savings plan from spaghetti to a step stool. Share this episode with someone who's saving for everything all at once and wondering why nothing's working. And make sure you follow @Triggator on X, Facebook, and Instagram for tips, tools, and behind-the-scenes content that'll help you climb with confidence. Coming up next time, credit card detox, breaking the swipe and stress cycle. Think credit card points are helping you out? Think again. Next time, we're diving into the psychology of plastic perks, the hidden costs of swipe culture, and how to break free from the stress cycle without breaking your spending plan. We'll walk you through what to expect in your first 30 days of credit card detox and how to lead your money without leaning on credit. If you've ever said, I'll just put it on the card, this one is for you. Remember, ladders aren't climbed in one leap. They're climbed one rung at a time with clarity, consistency, and a little bit of courage. You've got the plan, you've got the purpose. Now, keep climbing. Thanks for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.